Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of November 20th, 2016. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. It is a big week, no matter what the calendar says. 2017 is starting right now. And it really is because of a big conversation and another big conversation that is going to get a little bit of a prelude that is going to set the stage for what ultimately, the type of energy ultimately that will come to define 2017, particularly in the fullness of time. So one of the really big celestial conversations happening this week is Pluto and Jupiter. These two planets are speaking in one of tension. They're speaking in a conversation that is asking us to look at where it is that there is an ideal, a lofty aim, some philosophical understanding, and where it is that if we're actually going to get there in our own unique journey, if we're actually going to get there, what needs to change deeply. This is the kind of conversation that can have us questioning our own beliefs, our own views, specific truths that we've sort of held that have guided our values. This is where there might be some challenge, ultimately, so that we can ensure that what we believe is of our own choosing and of our own effort. So we should notice this as a collective. This is going to be one of those things that is going to play out on a larger scale, on a more collective scale, but also in our own unique and individual journeys as well. We will be seeing this play out. This particular conversation does say that real change, profound change can happen, but it's going to involve work, and there may even be an element there of having to accept some truth that might not necessarily be the easiest thing, and yet it is necessary, and it is part of the process of change, right? We don't always know what it is, or can't always accept what it is that needs to change until we identify what isn't working. It's very rare that things change when everything seems to be going along smoothly. It's only when we're able to see where it is that parts of our lives are not working the way that we'd like them to, that we summon the motivation to make important changes. Well, that's part of the lesson that this larger conversation is going to call us towards. Individually, yes. Collectively, yes. Now, the benefits of this and the worthiness of this particular work is going to further be affirmed by Venus. Venus is going to be meeting Pluto in the sky and speaking with Jupiter. So bringing an element of love and faith and softness and art into the mix. Bringing us an invitation to summon our own creative energy and bring it towards the change that we wish to experience, again, in our own lives or as part of the collective. Now, I have been mentioning this for different signs out there. I have been saying, just hold on. Venus will meet Pluto. Just hang tight. Venus is going to meet Pluto. Now, this is also on a level of love, on a level of heart. This can play out in a couple of different ways. Now, one is, I do think that there might be, for a lot of people out there, seemingly small experiences that end up having a hugely transformative impact. And this can play out romantically, okay? It can play out in terms of hoping for more, hoping for something grand and majestic, and then having to accept where it is that you actually are, what it is that's actually going on. There's an element here that is about being pulled, almost like feeling the pull of fate in a certain direction and experiencing some deep lessons as a result. Whether or not a whole lot manifests on the surface, the lessons are profound, the lessons are deep, and all of us in some way are going to be finding that what we're attracted to, who we're attracted to, serves as a catalyst for some important transformation. Now, I also have to say, as I look at this, it is very possible with a sky like this, that some particular work of art, I'm thinking about like a song, could be released right about now, that ends up really hitting a very deep chord as part of the collective experience. something else big is happening as well. Now, as part of the larger conversations coming up ahead, as part of these bigger conversations coming up ahead, we also have Saturn. Saturn is going to be having rare conversations in supreme harmony with Uranus and also with Jupiter as well. Now, that's going to play out more as we get to the very end of the year and as we get into 2017 in particular. What's happening that's special this week is Mercury. Mercury is going to meet Saturn in the sky and is going to actually be reaching out to Jupiter, and before the week is out, reaching out to Uranus as well. This is where we're going to start to get a sense of what's coming up ahead, where it is that breakthroughs are possible, where it is that progress is possible, where it is that we could leap ourselves into a more positive future that also brings with it an element of stability, that also brings with it an element of progress that lasts, that creates lasting results. We're going to have that motivation certainly to improve our circumstances, but have it be something that is driven by a long-term big vision as part of the direction that we desire to go in, as part of understanding where it is that our work is to do. A lot of us, again, are going to experience this individually. Some of this may play out on the collective level as well. But as I look at this with these big planets having these big conversations, it does suggest that all of us in some way are being asked to question ourselves, to question our own limitations so we can transcend them and leap forward towards a more prosperous and hopefully exciting future as well. With this type of sky, we should also notice with the media, because Mercury does speak to what we're talking about collectively. And one way that we do that conversation collectively is through the media. This particular sky does say that we may hear about some really exciting technological breakthroughs and promises with this energy. Now, keep in mind that with Mercury in particular, speaking with Jupiter, that's a very hopeful energy. We can work towards better kind of conversation. But as we move towards the end of the week, Mercury speaking with Uranus can bring some really positive conversations, positive developments where it comes to particularly technology of communication and around communication. If you are somebody who runs a social media site, and if this social media site goes through changes, a lot of changes sometimes, this would be a time when some changes implemented actually would go off rather nicely. And this, of course, can be really good just on the level of like stuff, technology stuff. Now, I would really encourage you, if you are somebody who is wanting to take advantage of certain sales that happen right around this time of year, and particularly if you are somebody who wants to buy something electronic oriented, this is the sky you want to use to make that happen. As we get towards the end of November, coming up a little further down the road, I'll be here to talk about it then. But as we get into next week, we are going to have Mercury enter shadow. Yes, I know, it seems like it was just yesterday. Mercury goes retro a lot. Mercury's in shadow a lot. And that's going to kick in as we get to the very end of the month. So this is when you want to use this energy. Go to any kind of sales events. Look at whatever purchases you want to make. Chances are you're going to get some really good deals. Chances are you'll be surprised at what you find. Chances are what it is that you find is absolutely loved by you or whomever it is that you choose to share your new findings with. Finally, the sun moves into the sign of Sagittarius. So a big happy birthday to all the Sages out there from me and from all of us. Let's celebrate this season of understanding that this world is a family. This world is a community. I think about the Sag energy as having to do with understanding that the world is actually not nearly as big as we imagine, that it's actually quite small, and that we actually have some very profound and very meaningful connections to each other. So my hope is with this new season entering the picture, a season of generosity, yes, but also a season of commonality, that we become that much more willing to see the commonality in each other. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction. I'm so grateful for it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It does mean so much. I love interacting with you guys. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. And Instagram. I love interacting with you guys on Instagram. That's been growing so fast. People have been saying that they really like it. It's like a whole other part of my personality. And it's just fun. I'm just having so much fun growing my Instagram. And there are a few different Instagram accounts with my name, and they're all mine. And I don't know how I ended up with so many different Instagram accounts in my name, but the one that I really use most actively is Nadiya_Shah. So it's Instagram at Nadiya_Shah. So I hope that you will join me there and enjoy the lighter, brighter side of learning life's lessons, right? And enjoying this earthly and celestial experience together. So as part of enjoying the earth together, and as part of this sun moving into Sagittarius, I am on world tour right about now. It's very exciting. I am right now out and about, and I've got several upcoming speaking engagements planned. Super excited about it. Really looking forward to meeting friends and fans out there. And my next stop is happening actually late this week, this very week. At the end of this week, I am going to be in Istanbul as part of the Astro Fun Fest. So that's astrofunfest.com. You can buy your tickets there. I'm super excited about meeting friends and fans out there in Istanbul. It's a 3-day festival. I have something happening every single day. And there's a whole lot of different events happening as part of this larger festival, which is taking place at Unique Istanbul. And so for those of you out there in that area, I would love to meet friends and fans, having, again, 2 talks and 1 workshop out there. You can buy tickets, learn more at astrofunfest.com. If you would like a consultation while I am out in that area, please do reach out. Use the contact form on my website. Do reach out and let me know, and we can make that happen. Again, it would be great to meet you guys, whether we're learning together in a talk or in a workshop, or sitting down together one-on-one, or just meeting to have a hug. All of it. It's all good. Looking forward to meeting friends and fans out there in Istanbul. Next stop will be Kelowna, BC. Yes, yay, I've never been out to BC. And I'm really, really excited about that. Got lots of people I love out in BC. Lots of new people to meet out in BC as well. So I will be in Kelowna, BC, the 3rd weekend of January. And I will be speaking as part of a larger event. You can learn more about this. You can get tickets at purepowerevents.com. Tickets are very limited for a workshop that I will be doing, a half-day workshop that I will be doing on the Saturday, followed by a book signing, which will be open to the public. It'll be great to meet you guys out there. But again, for the workshop, space is very limited. So please do consider going online to purchase those tickets at purepowerevents.com. I will also be giving the keynote address on the Friday evening. So again, it would be great to meet friends and fans out there. I've already started being contacted for consultations in Kelowna. So if you are in the Kelowna, BC area and you'd like to have a one-on-one consultation with me, to have me look at your chart in person, in real time, it would be a privilege, it would be an honor, and you can make that happen by using the contact form on my website, nadiyashah.com. And finally, the 2nd weekend in February, I will be in Baltimore. I am speaking at the NCGR conference as part of a larger event that's going to have some of the most brilliant astrologers alive today, all in one place, giving talks. It would be so great to meet friends and fans out there. I haven't seen snow in like 5 years or something. And I'm Canadian, I'm from Toronto. And I remember when I first went to Mexico, when I first went to Cancun, I was shocked at this whole concept. It was December and I was shocked that there could be winter with no snow. It just blew my mind. And changed my life, of course, because that's pretty much where I've been now, in Cancun. As much as I love Canada, as much as I love my home, as much as I keep coming back here because my whole family is here, yeah, I'm going to see snow. So that'll be fun. I'm sure that we'll make it an amazing, warm, fun experience. I'm sure it'll be a great weekend. If you'd like a consultation while I'm out there, reach out again through my website. People have already started reaching out. Thank you so much for that. And more information will be coming up ahead as part of this conference. I'm really looking forward to being out in Baltimore the second weekend of February, in the winter, in the snow. It'll be a lot of fun with you guys, I'm sure. Finally, synchronicityuniversity.com. All my previous webinars, the full video downloads are available online. Please do have a look. All those classes, I did 8 classes so far, 8 classes, and they were extremely popular. They were topics chosen by you guys, and they still continue to get amazing feedback. Thank you so much for that. So if you'd like to be part of an astrology lesson, to download a whole astrology class that is over 2 hours long, you can do so on synchronicityuniversity.com. But of course, you being here is everything. You being here allows me to live my mission in the world, which I'm really starting to connect with an understanding of really how important it is. You being here is part of affirming in the world that the universe is wise and loving. That affirmation is really why I am here, which is really the motivation behind everything that I do. And it is a motivation that really does help me, does keep me going, and gives me really energy. And you guys have meant so much to me, and you being here really allows me to live that mission, which is to affirm in the universe that the universe is wise and loving. And so you being here, it isn't just that I'm affirming it and I'm able to live it, but you are participating in that. And together we are affirming this sacred truth together. And hopefully as part of that affirmation, it will continue to grow and grow, excel, and become something that more and more people, through us participating in this and growing this energy, more and more people start to connect with it that much more and understand this as a truly sacred truth. The universe is wise and loving. Thank you so much again. How all this wonderful stuff this week speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, Fabulous Aries. This week, Venus will meet Pluto in the sky at the very top of your sky. This is going to speak very powerfully to an understanding of your goals, of your direction, of your career, and of what it is that you believe is worth achieving. One way that this energy can manifest is a real understanding of what you love and what it is that you can dedicate yourself to completely. Also, who you love and who you really believe is part of your journey going forward, and you see as part of the bigger picture of your life. There's a sense here of desire. There's a sense here of focus and a sense here of really honing in on what matters and seeing it through. There's another part of this energy as well. If you are somebody open to meeting someone new, this kind of sky can have you looking at or having some interesting experiences with people who are, like I would say, bosses, people who are in a position of authority, or someone who you otherwise would respect and feel like they've achieved something that you desire. It is these types of people that can facilitate some very powerful moments for you this week. The types of moments that leave you feeling changed and even leave you perhaps questioning ultimately some higher sense of direction, higher sense of what it is that you truly desire to achieve. Ultimately, what this sky is saying is allow yourself to change where you're ready to, and where it is that you know what it is you're going for, just zoom in, focus right in, and have faith and have dedication to make that right power move as you are called to do so. Hello, Fabulous Taurus. Well, this week, your ruling planet Venus will meet Pluto in the sky. This happens once a year. Normally, it happens once a year. And this is your moment. This tends to be a deeply honest moment for you. For some, it is one where a lot of emotion, a lot of passions may rise. For others, it can have an element there of of providing you with an opportunity to practice some humility, okay? And what I ultimately mean by that is this is ultimately a moment that can change you, where you may be looking at what you really want to do, how much more you think you could be doing or should be doing. And that's where you want to be a little bit careful. Your plan for your life, and what I mean by that is a higher plan for your life, is working out exactly as it needs to right now, so that you can be who you need to be, so that you can evolve and grow exactly the way that you need to do all the things that you're meant to do in this life. What someone else is doing ultimately is about their journey and about where they are and what they need to do. What a higher power, a loving higher power for all of us, what is it that that energy needs that person to do in this moment? They are doing, and you are doing what you are doing. So it's important to keep that perspective, because one of the main reasons that it's important to keep that perspective is because it will empower you. It will make you that much clearer. It'll make you that much stronger. Now, what I really do like about this week is some insight, some understanding into how it is that the universe is trying to create greater abundance for you, is trying to bless your life. What needs to change if you're going to move towards greater abundance? Trust those insights. Make that power plan. Consider your power pitch rather than thinking about what someone else has done, is doing. Take the focus off of that and onto a more empowering place. Now, where it comes to matters of love, it may very well be love or attraction that is part of this distinction for you. For those of you open to meeting someone new, it is very possible that right about now, someone who either lives far away or is from far away certainly captures your heart and your attention, if not your passion. For those of you who are in an established bond, I mean, I think that this is going to be a week where you truly start to feel and sense how deeply understood you are and how much it is that your partner really does support you in so many ways. Hello, Fabulous Gemini. Well, this week we've got lots of activity happening in your opposite sign thanks to Mercury. And what that says is love, love, romance. These are areas of life that are especially highlighted for you now, especially if you are in an established bond, in a one-on-one connection, especially if it's a committed bond. The more committed it is, the more likely you're going to bring about the more positive elements of this sky. So this can lend itself to an agreement between you and your partner, a real understanding that creates greater stability between you and this person that you love. A sense of honesty, laying things out on the table and being that much more grateful for it, being that much more understood for it. Now, those of you who are open to meeting someone new, yes, we have this really great energy that is part of helping you to move towards greater stability and love. That's great. But at the same time, we do have Jupiter speaking with Pluto in that very interesting conversation that is highlighting very interesting parts of your sky, mainly highlighting parts of your sky that have to do with flirtation. Fun, yes, but flirtation also. And also with Pluto moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with large sums of money. So I look at this and a couple of things come to mind here. I remember way back in the day, if I may say, way back in the day, I remember meeting somebody and this person said, you know, I can't have a girlfriend right now because I don't have money. So that was their understanding of what it meant to have a partner, what it meant to have a girlfriend. I always thought that that was interesting. That was an interesting distinction. I always wondered if that was like kind of an excuse or not, but you know, to each their own. And I share that with you because it could be that kind of situation that manifests for you right now, where you meet somebody, you're flirting and you think that it's something, but then they are saying, well, look, I can't do anything significant because of this financial situation. Another part of this is meeting somebody, having that interaction and feeling very changed as a result of a flirtation. Whatever it is that it needs to be in that moment is fine, right? I wish I could tell you there was a whole lot of stability energy. Well, there kind of is actually. We do have that Mercury and Saturn meeting in the sky. So if you're open to meeting someone new, both of these can help you, but it does look like there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of passion, and there might be some like power discrepancy. So it could be that one of you has a lot more money than the other. It could be that one of you is in a different position of in their career than the other. But these are things that you're going to want to be mindful of. It's almost like the flirtations feel strong, they feel irresistible, but there's something that is kind of tangled about whom you are finding yourself drawn to. And yet for all that, you've got all this energy saying that as much as it may feel a little tangled, as much as it may feel less than ideal, there's lots of cosmic support there for having it go in a very positive and possibly long-term direction. Hello, Fabulous Cancer. What an exciting week it is for all of us. Lots going on in this sky. That certainly includes you as well. Where I see a lot of activity happening and positive progress taking place for you is in the realm of work. The work that you're doing, the clients that you have, the clients that are coming in, the projects that you're working on, the coworkers that you have around you. These are the types of people that you are going to find very supportive. There is going to be work. It looks very busy as well, but also having the right conversations that really gets your imagination going, gets your creativity going, and allows you to consider what else you could do, what more you could do to fill up your days. I also really like that it may very well be a coworker or someone who is your peer in some way, who is part of opening up that understanding for you, sort of opening a door in your heart, if you will, for you. Now, as I look at other areas of the sky, I gotta mention that Venus in your opposite sign meeting Pluto. Now, I've been telling you this is coming up. I know I have. I've been telling you for the last couple of weeks. Okay, coming up very soon. You are going to have Venus in your opposite sign meeting Pluto, and that's going to change everything. So now here we are. Venus is going to speak with Jupiter and is going to meet Pluto. This is a huge moment of truth for you in the realm of relationships, in the realm of love, in the realm of understanding one key person, one key partnership. Now, I spoke of in the introduction, and this goes like especially true for you, but for some of you, this is going to play out in an established bond. For others of you, it may be an attraction. It may just be an attraction. It may be somebody that you're just getting to know, okay? But in some way, the experience ends up being very meaningful to you. So if you are somebody just getting to know somebody, or someone new in your sphere right now, or if you meet somebody right about now, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot necessarily happening in terms of pledges of love and all of that being made. But what looks very likely is an experience that ends up feeling a lot bigger than it may look on the surface. It doesn't mean that it's all about you, okay? It doesn't mean that you're imagining things, but it does mean that in some way you are going to be triggered, and a powerful lesson is going to come forward for you as a result, and also the invitation to make a very powerful change as a result. If you find yourself in a flirtation that ends up going further, for you in particular, there really does not, I gotta say, not a lot of like long-term solid energy here for you. So it looks like if there's, a moment, it may just be that moment. So you have to be open to that possibility. If you are in an established bond, this particular energy can speak to some very heightened expectations of your partner, and a real sort of moment of understanding what this partnership actually is for both of you. This kind of moment can really change the trajectory of a relationship, and a lot of it has to do with checking your assumptions and checking your expectations. For some of you, this is going to be great. This is going to solidify that bond that much more. For others of you, this might be a little bit of a make or break kind of moment where you have to be really honest with yourself about why it is that you are with this person. But the great thing is that if it's solid, right? And if it's good, if your partnership is right, it will become that much stronger and it will become that much clearer. And it's not always what you think, as I like to say. It's not always what you think. It could be that you realize that you've been bringing a lot of baggage into the mix, and you don't need to do that anymore. You may realize you've been playing out patterns and you don't need to do that anymore. This relationship doesn't have to be what your past has been. It could be that one relationship that you really have wanted to be over for a long time, but you weren't able to be honest with yourself, a business partnership or romantic partnership. Now you understand, now you accept, and now comes the healthy closure that you need so that you can move towards the kind of partnerships that truly are rooted in honesty and truly are rooted in love. Hello, fabulous Leo. What an exciting week it is now for you. We've got Mercury moving through super flirty part of the sky, having all kinds of harmonious conversations all around. And this to me is really good, especially if you're open to meeting someone new. And if you are open to having a flirtation here and there, this kind of sky could have you connecting with someone and having it just move forward in a stable direction very quickly. If ever there was a time for you to be open to getting your flirt on, however spontaneously, this certainly would be the kind of sky that can have things going in a very positive direction very quickly, in a direction that you like very much. So if any invitations come up, and if not, you make the invitations come up, make sure you are doing something that you consider fun, that you're being social, you're being out and about, and you're connecting with other people. In the process, it is very likely that love may just show up for you, or you'll just have a whole lot of fun and you'll be really, really glad for it. If you're in an established bond, again, the focus is so much on fun. Keep in mind you're super fertile with this kind of energy, and it could just really take you by not just surprise, but really there's an element here of really news coming out of nowhere, and it looks like there's lots of like, okay, wait a minute, what is really going on here? Having a serious talk with yourself, and then understanding your options and being happy, being super, super happy as well. So keep that in mind also, okay? Lots of fertility energy here, but also really good energy for just feeling very swept away, feeling that sense of butterflies and love for this person that you're with or someone new that you get to know. Now, where the energy gets more interesting has to do with the part of the sky that has to do with the workplace, okay? So this has to do with your coworkers, possibly immediate supervisors. This has to do with the clients that you have, the clients you're taking on, the work assignments that you have to do. It looks like there's a very strong demand being placed on you. There might be a part of you that feels there's an element here of unfairness, okay? If I'm going to be very straightforward with you. I would also be mindful here of what kind of dynamics and relationships are playing out with your coworkers and immediate supervisors. Look, trust yourself, right? Because energy like this does say in a jovial moment, you may say a little bit too much or behave in a certain way, and it ends up not working in your favor very quickly. And so with this kind of energy, it helps to be a little bit professional. It helps to keep things sort of on an even keel and to focus more on your work because there's such strong focus energy. So if you can do that, if you can focus in on your work, that is where you will really tap into the promise and the power this week. Hello, fabulous Virgo. What an exciting week. Your ruling planet is moving through the very bottom of your sky. Looks like matters having to do with your home, having to do with your family, even family of origin, and even matters having to do with your past are getting a whole new, fresh perspective. So this could be your actual home. There's lots of conversations, lots of busyness going on around there. Maybe inspired to make some changes that ultimately create greater stability and possibly even increase the value of where it is that you live. With this given sky, it tends to be really good for reconnecting with family of origin or connecting with mom energy in any way, whether it's you're the mom or connecting with your mom where that applies. This can be really good energy for bringing forward a greater understanding of that maternal archetype within you and the ones that you have had. Now, what I really also love about this energy is that there are plans being made And there's a greater sense of more being possible and more being available to you exactly where you are right now, based on where you've been, not necessarily needing to go to extraordinary lengths to make anything especially happen or especially matter, but that you can improve your circumstances, you can connect with people, you can share ideas, and actually consider ways to become more prosperous exactly right where you are now. Now, where it comes to matters of love, we do have Venus meeting Pluto in a part of the sky for you that has to do with flirtation. It has to do with flirtation. This is very powerful. If I may say, I'm going to just put this out there. I mean, this is the kind of energy that can have you meeting somebody and having a very powerful experience and it not being much more than that, but yet that moment ends up being very meaningful to you and very powerful to you and reveals some truth to you about yourself. Helps you to ask yourself some questions that may actually be the right questions and good questions. So this is a moment of flirtation that changes you deeply. It's almost as if I'm seeing, the words that come to mind with this are change of heart. In some way, there's a transformation of or change of heart that can take place thanks to this sky. Also, for those of you in an established bond, what I do really like about this sky is that there is a sense of awareness of what it is that your heart really wants. And it's very likely that what your heart wants is coming very much to the surface now. So there's almost a sense of becoming acutely aware and having it come right up to the surface so that what you're feeling and what you have felt, where it comes to how fulfilled you are feeling in terms of what your heart really needs. Well, you're going to be able to be much more honest about that with yourself and with your partner as well. And where it is that there are matters of heart and matters of deep understanding that you feel are not being met, this is where you are going to broach a very brave, very bold, and very honest and consequential conversation. Hello, Fabulous Libra. This week we've got a super active sky and you are right in the middle of the most powerful stuff taking place. And that is because Jupiter in your sign is going to be speaking to lots of major players, especially Pluto. Now, this is the first of a series of conversations. The next two are going to take place in 2017. But this is the time that's going to tell you something about where it is that some of your most powerful changes are going to take place and where it is that you are ready to make some very important changes from the inside out. There's lots of power here, yes. There's also the potential here to focus in on what really matters. And at the same time, we've got a sense of you questioning what it is that is true for you. Now, this is valuable because this helps you to clarify what it is that's truly going to matter for you in the bigger picture of your life. And this is going to help you to ensure that what you believe is strong and is truly yours. So lots of soul searching with this energy, certainly. You add to this, Mercury is going to be speaking with that Jupiter in harmony. Venus is also going to be speaking with that Jupiter as well. So you can expect conversations and attractions to be a key part of the triggers, if you will, the inspirations, if you will, to the soul searching that begins now as part of a year ahead that is going to change you in deep ways and in ways ultimately that you will be grateful for. So very powerful time, certainly for Libras out there, where in some key way you are realizing where it is that you're ready to be reborn in a positive sense, and where it is that there's work to be done to become that person that you know you deserve to be. And that's not about anything superficial. It's not about thinking I got to change my appearance. It's not about that at all. If you want to do that, go for it, have at it, enjoy. But it is about you searching something deeper within your soul and understanding who it is that you want to be in the world. And that change ultimately takes place in a much deeper place in your spirit. Now, where it comes to matters of heart, matters of love, right? We've talked about the spiritual stuff. That's important. As I already mentioned, it may very well be an attraction that is part of the catalyst for you to a lot of the big changes that are set to take place. This is the very beginning but it very well could be like a simple flirtation or somebody you like and having an exchange with them, or feeling drawn to somebody that ends up being just the thing that changes something very deep within you. There's also an element here that has to do with understanding where it is that you have been. And home is certainly the place where there's lots of power right now, but also lots of lust and lots of strong feelings coming up. And so if you are in an established bond, I mean, I can't say that home is necessarily going to be entirely a peaceful place, but it is going to be a place where there's some work to do and some things to be worked out. And where it is that your bond is strong and real, it will become a place of absolute solace for you as you go through these very profound changes and see that your partner is going to stay in step. Hello, Fabulous Scorpio. It is a powerful week all around, and certainly you're going to be feeling that power very deep within you. Venus is going to meet your ruling planet in the sky, and it's going to be meeting in a part of the sky that has to do with conversations. It has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors as well. And so as I look at this, if you're open to meeting someone new, whether you're doing it online, whether you're doing it through conversation and meeting someone, talking to somebody, this is a time when you could feel the very powerful pull of fate towards someone. It'll be hard to explain. It'll feel very karmic. It'll feel very past life oriented. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with it, but it looks like the connection begins on a level of mind. Now, the reality or something around the circumstance looks to be less than your expectations or less than ideal. Ultimately, it's going to be you that's going to decide how important that is, how workable that is or not. But regardless, when you feel that pull of fate, ultimately what that means is there is a lesson there. There is some learning there for you. And ultimately that learning truly is yours. Now, this could also be a time, again, if you're open to meeting someone new, that a sibling or cousin or possibly neighbor wants to hook you up with somebody. Just know it's not going to be what you expect, right? But it should end up being meaningful to you in some way, helping you to make some important distinction within yourself. It also could be that a neighbor flirts in a way that may or may not be necessarily the thing that you would be most enthusiastic about. And what I mean by that is there might be a little bit of, stepping over some line with a neighbor now. So ultimately, it is up to you to decide what feels right in a given moment. And also up to you to decide where it is that you want to sort of pull back and keep your space, because really you are entitled to your space and your space truly is yours. Now, what I also really love about this week for you is that there is this focus right now, the money part. The money part is really good. This is a time when things could change very quickly and lead you in a direction of greater prosperity, greater income could take place now, and the changes could happen very quickly and very delightfully as well. Now, those of you in an established bond, I do really like this focus on conversations leading to matters of heart. And I think that there's an energy here that says you get to the heart of a matter. You get to the core of an issue. And it happens through being willing to talk about it. So if there is a conversation that is difficult to have but necessary, whether you're resisting it or not, it may very well show up for you, and you've got to trust that moment, because ultimately it is a transformative moment that could transform things very much for the better. Hello, Fabulous Sagittarius. This week, Mercury moving through your sign is bringing out your brilliant best. Now, Mercury is making some key connections now, meeting Saturn, speaking with Jupiter, speaking with Uranus. This tells me that the mind is bright, the mind is alight, and there is a sense now that you know what it is that you can do to move your life in a direction that feels empowering, that feels like you're going to maximize positivity, and also lends itself to greater happiness as well. If you have an opportunity to have some fun, particularly late in the week, take the universe up on that opportunity. You're going to be really glad for it. It's going to change your energy up, bring all kinds of new creative ideas into the mix, you'll be really, really grateful for it. Now, what I also really like about this sky is that there's a sense of possibility with you now and a sense of ownership that you are the source of ultimately what's going to create even more possibilities and greater positivity in your life as well. Now, when it comes to matters of heart, matters of love, we've got a couple of interesting things playing out here. One of the things playing out is the fact that we've got Venus meeting Pluto in the sky. Now, this is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with money that you're earning. It has to do with income, and it also has to do with spending as well. And as I look at this, it is very possible that your partner or you and your partner in some way become responsible for some large payment that needs to be made. And part of that is going to be about the sacrifice that you need to be making as part of that. And so it could be, as I look at this, one possible scenario is that your partner has, a tax bill that comes up, and you realize that you've got to, pay some of that as part of this partnership, realizing that that's the best thing to do. Situations like that can come up here. It could be that your partner needs something so that they continue to do the work that they do, so that they continue bringing money in and sharing resources with you. And a part of that means that you have to in some way sacrifice or give or spend so that the union together can continue to be more and more prosperous. So that's one way this energy can manifest, one small way. This can also be, I gotta say, in a business partnership as well. This could be a time when a business partner in some way ends up costing you money as well. So you do want to be mindful of that also. Now, ultimately what it's going to mean for the future is completely up to you to decide. But it does look like there's, whether it's miscommunication, whether it's sort of going around each other in some circles in some way, there is a need for that clarity. There is a need for mutual understanding that could be part of ultimately finding that right balance and that right place where you are clear that you are also investing in this partnership as much as your partner is as well. Now, if you are open to meeting someone new, a sky like this, as I look at this, this does suggest that, this is very private. This is very personal. This has to do with coming to another understanding of yourself and your self-worth. And as I look at the sky, there's a few ways that this can work out and a few ways that this can play out. One of the ways that this could possibly play out has to do with an attraction that has a certain secretive element to it, but it's like giving you more confidence. Okay, so that's one way that this energy can be playing out. Another way is that it's literally, like I'm seeing, very meaningful. But it may be somebody who's just kind of not necessarily a solid presence or a solid option. So these are the types of situations that can play out as a possibility with this given sky. But for all that, I really think if you stay connected to you, and especially considering Mercury speaking with Uranus, really, if you're hoping to meeting someone new, get online. It could be a very quick and very fun and possibly leading to greater stability kind of flirtation that can be made now. Hello, Fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got an active sky, and really you're right at the center of it in some key ways. We have got Venus meeting Pluto in your sign and both reaching out to Jupiter. Now, that conversation between Pluto and Jupiter is a very defining one, and one that is going to be repeated as part of a larger conversation, going to be repeated in 2017. I'll be here to talk about it then. But it does suggest a time of deep change and deep questioning as to your direction, as to your career, as to what you really want, what's worth achieving. All of that is going to be highlighted, especially for you now. But there's an element here that has to do with love, and it has to also do with, if you are an artist of any kind, if creating greater beauty in the world, in yourself, if you're involved in art, in beautifying the world, in fashion, in jewelry, any of that stuff, this energy is going to be that much more important to you, particularly where it comes to your career direction. Now, this can be a time of change that makes you feel a little bit uncertain, a little bit unsure, but ultimately reflects a change in your direction about whatever it is, whatever your artistic truth may be. Seems to be coming more clearer to you, and it seems like there might be an element there of risk, an element there of questioning involved. If you can give yourself space to experiment a little bit, I think you'll be that much better for it. But if not, this certainly looks like a time where there may be some chance that you feel ready to take. It could also be a desire for more power on your part that is motivating some of this change as well. Now, I would advise you, I'm looking at the sky, I'm looking at the fact that next week we're going to have a new moon speaking with Neptune happening in the sign just before yours. I feel as I look at this that a whole lot of stuff might not be as clear as ideally it should be if you are going to be making some kind of big change. However, ultimately it's up to you to trust inspiration. Just know that the finer details might not be what you are anticipating. If you have some sort of offer on your plate or some big move that you're planning, there might be some details that need to be worked out there that will be revealed just a little bit further down the road. But this also could be more personally oriented and more oriented towards understanding a sense of life purpose and an evolving sense of life purpose. Venus meeting Pluto in your sign could also have you thinking about making some big change when it comes to your appearance. I like to say it's only hair. Do what you got to do, but just be a little bit mindful. It may end up being something different. It may end up being really, really dramatic, really, really drastic, and garnering some very interesting feedback, okay? So just be a little bit mindful of that. But for all that, if you're enjoying yourself, that really is what matters most, I think. And like I said, is just hair. I really do believe that. Now, where it comes to matters of love, Venus meeting Pluto in your sign, it literally is as if a romantic moment just shows up for you and changes something, shifts something very deeply within you. You're not going to have to go out and make it happen or go out and try to connect with people or any kind of strategy. It literally would just show up. Alternatively, you may find yourself behaving in ways that end up being very revealing to you, showing you something about what it is that you really want, if you feel like you have it or not, and what you feel ultimately you're moving towards in the context of love. If you're in an established bond, this energy may very well play out within that connection as you come to almost a sort of a flash of insight as you are sitting with your partner into an understanding of how it is and why it is that there is such a profound connection in that moment with this person. Hello, Fabulous Aquarius. This week we've got a super active sky. Now, some of the more active stuff for you, I think, is going to play out in terms of friendships. Friends are certainly going to keep you busy this week, are going to want your attention, but also can be the source of great news for you as well. In fact, considering that Mercury towards the end of the week and really over the course of this week, building towards a super harmonious connection with your modern ruling planet. After meeting in the sky your ancient ruling planet, it's almost as if your mind is very connected to who you are, and key conversations, key connections, key social events with your friends end up being very revealing to you about who you are, what it is that you're truly manifesting, what it is that you truly desire to do. But it really does come down to an understanding of self and who you are. Now, there's an element here of the mind being awakened, the mind being stimulated in a positive way. And this can end up benefiting many different areas of life, your career, but also more personal matters as well, where it comes to matters of heart. If you are somebody who has children and you desire to understand something about your child, this would be a good time, or you want children, you're trying to understand something, how to make children happen for you. This would be a good time to reach out to friends, to have those conversations, very likely to get the right advice that makes all the difference. Now, where it comes to matters of love, it really is all about Venus meeting Pluto this week. I think that that's going to be a very powerful thing for you because it's happening in the sign just before yours. So this is a very quiet yet profound shift. Now you add to this the fact that Pluto in this part of the sky and Venus are going to speak with Jupiter in fellow air sign Libra. And it's almost as if what happens for you now in love, it may be very quiet. It may be very behind the scenes. It may not even be something that's just out there and on the surface, but in some way it shifts your understanding about what you believe to be true, what you believe about the world and your place in the world. All of that could go through a shift now, and all of that could be based on love. Now, part of this energy does suggest that if there is an attraction, it may not manifest into something more fully, and it might be right for it not to manifest into something more fully. It may end up being the kind of thing where it's not appropriate for it to manifest into something more. But this energy can also suggest that whatever is happening in the level of love, there's a certain private element to it as well. And ultimately, you can allow that privacy to make it something that you cherish that much more. Hello, fabulous Pisces. What an exciting week it is all around for you. There are a few key things happening here. One is Mercury moving through the very top of your sky. Now, this is all about a focus on career, a focus on achievement of goals, of understanding what is worth achieving. All of that is going to be highlighted under a sky like this. What I also really like about this is a great time to have key meetings, interviews, conversations with people in a position of power, authority figures, bosses. These are the kind of people you want to be connected with. If you are somebody who is not on the career track, not thinking along those lines, then this can be really good energy for understanding what goals are worth achieving and what it is that you now desire to move towards. This also can be really good energy for understanding the father figures in your life, whether past or present, understanding who they are, spending time with them, talking to them, or having conversations that help you to understand those people in your life that much more. Now, where it comes to matters of heart, matters of love, it really is all about Venus meeting Pluto in the sky. This is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendship. I mean, this could be a very powerful moment with a friend that turns into more. Now, it also could be that a friend really helps you to understand some key matter in love and relationship and transform it and change it. It could also be with this energy that a friend, it's almost like I'm seeing some moves being made, okay, from a friend towards you, or it could be mutual. Now, it could be very one-sided where it takes you a little bit by surprise and you're not sure where to go with it, what to do with it. Ultimately, that is up to you. But it could also be something that is very mutual as well. Now, whether or not it makes a lot of sense, it might not, okay? In all honesty, it might not make a lot of sense. And it may be something that you really have to keep under wraps. Don't want to be, shouting out from the mountaintops, at least not just yet. And yet there is something very profound about it, and something that ultimately ends up being meaningful to you about it as well. But again, it's always up to you to decide what's right for you, what you're going to do in light of any circumstance. It's always up to you to decide what meaning you're going to give something and to be better for it. That's part of the invitation now, and it is going to be a friend that facilitates this very powerful understanding. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.